So we're doing I believe this is part 6 of the most common pro-choice fallacies. I completely forgot which ones they were, so I had to dig deep into these. So fallacy number 1 for this video is the burden shift. I completely forgot to mention this, very common. So a burden shift is where the burden of proof is onto a person who makes a claim or positive claim, and they basically ask somebody a question to avoid them getting out of the burden. A very common example, it's not even related to abortion, it's actually religion. Somebody says, what's the argument that God exists? And then they respond, well, what's the argument that God doesn't exist? Now they switch the burden of proof, right? The burden of proof is not onto me, it is onto you. So if abortion is justified, what is the argument that abortion is justified? It's not on to me to make the claim that abortion is unjustified if I'm asking you to give your stance, right? So now that is the burden shift. Then we go to the verbatim fallacy. So the verbatim fallacy, also known as the exact word fallacy, is basically where this is very common when a lot of pro-choicers use religion, actually, right? But basically the verbatim fallacy is just that. Well, the Bible doesn't say abortion is wrong word for word, so therefore abortion is justified. This is nonsensical, obviously. It's kind of like Muslims when they say, oh, Jesus never specifically said, I am God, the exact phrase, I am God, right? Well, again, it's a verbatim fallacy. We know the principles of the Bible that murder is wrong. Killing an image bearer unjustifiably is wrong. And children in utero are image bearers. So it doesn't need to say word for word that abortion is wrong, right? I mean, do you think plagiarism is wrong? The Bible doesn't specifically say that's wrong, but we know taking credit, stealing people's work, and taking credit from it is clearly wrong. So that's a verbatim fallacy, very, very, very common. Then we go to the appeal to tradition fallacy, right? So the appeal to tradition, also known as appeal to history, this is actually the first fallacy I have ever heard in my entire life, all the way back in high school. Basically, it goes like this, right? Abortion is good because people have been practicing it for thousands of years, which is true. But how, because people have been practicing this for a long time, therefore it's okay? I mean, people have been raping each other for thousands of years. People have been practicing cannibalism for thousands of years. I mean, necrophilia has existed for thousands of years. Are those things okay too? Well, they would obviously say no. Just because something has occurred for thousands of years does not mean we should do it. Like, who cares if they've been doing it for a long time? And that's where I heard the fallacy for the first time. We were actually arguing, why should prom, exist? Why should school prom exist? And we didn't really have any reasonings for it, right? It's just, well, we've been doing it for a very, very long time. Well, my teacher used an example. Well, in Saudi Arabia, I'm not sure this is true actually, but in Saudi Arabia, they used to cut people's tongues out for a very long time. And they would say, well, we've been doing this for a very long time. Same thing with female circumcision. I actually learned this in college. They have been practicing this system for a very, very long time. Does that mean that's okay too? No. The appeal to tradition is obviously a nonsensical fallacy that you shouldn't abide by.